Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, enjoying a nice cigar on my porch on a beautiful Saturday. I don't know if you caught the video that Trump put out giving a huge shout out to Tucker Carlson and his assessment of why the deep state is going after Trump. If you don't know, Tucker made the argument, I think it was in his third Twitter video, second or third, but that Trump was being targeted by the Biden administration and the Washington establishment precisely because of his foreign policy. Specifically his unwavering stance against permanent Washington's globalist agenda. And Trump said that Tucker was absolutely right. He agrees that his commitment to putting America first has made him a prime target for the powers that be, that permanent Washington that came to power after World War II and whose ultimate goal is basically ruling the world as the chief architects of globalism and what's become known as the liberal world order. Because Trump deliberately tried to dismantle that liberal world order. In fact, John Mearsheimer of the University of Chicago actually characterized Trump's 2016 campaign as a war against the liberal world order. It's precisely because of that that Trump is being targeted. And I have to say, I found this so interesting because you'll note that what Trump said there, and this is really inside baseball stuff, right? What Tucker originally said and what Trump is corroborating here is that there's no one single policy that Trump is being targeted for. It's not his, border policy or his economic policies or his judicial appointees or even January 6th for that matter, anything like that. In the end, Trump is being targeted because he did the unthinkable, the unpardonable. He deliberately tried to dismantle the liberal world order. Now, if you don't know, the liberal world order is basically a one-size-fits-all political and economic system. And that's the key here. Liberal globalism, which is just another term for the liberal world order. Liberal globalism isn't so much a culture or a civilization as much as it is a system. It's a political and economic system that's made up of things like a radically secularized political order, corporate capitalism, and woke lifestyle values. Proponents of liberal globalism believe that all the peoples on the planet have to be liberated from their cultures, their customs, their traditions, which means they have to be emancipated from their traditional politics and their religious constraints, as it were. In other words, they have to topple their governments and their gods. And those are toppled through the imposition of a secular political order, which is ultimately beholden to the interests of permanent Washington, corporate capitalism, which is ultimately beholden to the interests of Wall Street, and here's the key, woke lifestyle values, which morally weaken populations so they remain subservient to Washington and Wall Street. And this liberal world order has been called America's religion. It's been touted as nothing less than an almost messianic mission in bringing the salvation of democracy and corporate capitalism and woke lifestyle values to the world. The problem, of course, is that this liberal world order is increasingly being recognized by the rest of the world as nothing less than Western imperialism. It's the peculiar creation of Western civilization that's not so much liberating the world as it is imprisoning it. It's not emancipating, it's being imposed. The supposed defenders of democracy give you no choice in the matter, as we're all finding out, right? It's no coincidence that whenever this liberal world order needs to be defined, interpreted, and enforced, it's always Western powers that arrogate to themselves the sole prerogative to do just that, particularly the United States. And so increasingly populations around the globe see the liberal world order as really nothing more than a ruse, a Trojan horse, as it were, for a kind of modern Western imperialism. And so that's why we're seeing this massive backlash going on all over the world, particularly in Russia, China, India, Turkey, Sub-Saharan Africa, Saudi Arabia, the whole of the Middle East. But what made Trump such a threat is he brought that backlash home. You see, more and more Americans don't want anything to do with this liberal world order, especially the endless wars involved in maintaining it. We don't want the woke corporate capitalism shoving their filth down our throats each and every day, right? And so just as permanent Washington and Soros and the like, just as they use all kinds of coercive means of trying to keep other nations in line with their world order, so now they're employing those very anti-democratic, totalitarian, authoritarian tactics now here at home against Trump. So the key here is that this is why the Clintons and the Bidens and the Obamas, who've all engaged in massive criminality and corruption, this is why they all can get away with it. Because in the end, that criminality and corruption never put the liberal world order at risk. But Trump, having put that order at risk, he could be the most saintly choir boy on the planet. They would do everything to bring him down. They have to. The liberal world order is permanent Washington's religion, and heretics must be excommunicated. Indeed, they must be burned. And that's what's happening to Trump. Now, unfortunately for them, it's not going to work. The genie's out of the bottle. There's nothing they can do about it. The whole world is rebelling against these deep state lunatics. And here at home, Trump in many ways is just the beginning of the mass revolt that cannot ultimately be stopped. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, but make sure to like and subscribe regardless, and enjoy your weekend. God bless, guys.